This is my final plea to make you my wife. I have spoken before courts, before kings and queens, before the restless waves of armies awaiting command. But never have my words trembled as they do now, for this is not a declaration of conquest, nor a royal decree. This is a confession, a surrender from a man who has worn crowns of gold, but has found no comfort greater than the thought of you beside him. My heart, once trained to command, now kneels. My voice, once made for battle, now softens only to speak your name. You have been the echo that followed me through every chamber of silence. In the loneliness of my throne, when power weighed like chains upon my soul, it was the memory of your laughter that broke the walls around me. The kingdom celebrates my victories, but they do not see the emptiness that sits upon the seat of triumph. What is a ruler without joy? What is a crown if it cannot rest against the heart of the one he loves? I have crossed oceans of pride to reach this moment. I have set aside the armor that shielded me from every wound but yours. The truth is simple, and yet it terrifies me more than war ever could. I am not whole without you. You are the peace I have fought to earn, the serenity I have sought beyond the noise of titles and duty. When I look at you, I see not a subject, not a queen. I see the other half of my destiny, written in light long before I ever drew breath. There will be those who say this union defies reason, that a prince must choose duty before desire. Let them speak, let them write their laws in stone. Love will carve new ones in the stars. For what worth has a kingdom built on fear, if the heart of its ruler beats for someone beyond the throne? I would rather reign a smaller world with you by my side than rule an empire alone. You have seen me not as the prince the world kneels before, but as the man behind the crown. Flawed, uncertain, burdened by ghosts of expectation, and still you stayed. That is a kind of bravery no sword could summon. You faced the storm of whispers, the judgment of nobles, the endless shadow of power, and through it all, you looked at me not with awe, but with understanding. You gave me back the man I had forgotten I was. So I stand before you now, stripped of the armor of pride, offering not riches or kingdoms, but something rarer, the truth of my heart. I am asking not for obedience, but for partnership, not for perfection, but for eternity. Walk with me, not behind me. Speak to me as my equal, not my subject. Let the world bear witness to a love that even crowns must bow to. This is my final plea, not because I tire of asking, but because I have nothing left to offer but all that I am. If you refuse me, I will still love you. If you accept, I will love you beyond death. The stars may fade, the thrones may crumble, but the vow I make in this breath will outlive them all. For the heart of a prince is only truly noble when it beats for his queen. And my heart, my love, has already chosen you. The moment hangs suspended between heartbeats, fragile and infinite. I watch your eyes as silence fills the space where words have lost their purpose. The world beyond us fades, the courtiers, the marble halls, even the golden banners fluttering in the courtyard below. All that remains is you and the answer that trembles between your lips. I feel the weight of every life I've lived pressing against this instant, knowing that whatever you say now will rewrite the stars above us. When you finally speak, it isn't loud, it doesn't need to be. Your voice, soft and steady, carries the power of 1,000 promises. My knees grow weak, not from fatigue, but from awe. I have won battles that shaped kingdoms, but never have I felt such triumph as when your hand finds mine. The world seems to exhale, the air itself turns gentle, and I feel as though the heavens have leaned closer just to witness what love has dared to claim. The palace erupts with joy, though I barely hear it. Musicians strike their strings, bells toll in distant towers, and petals rain from balconies above. but my eyes do not lift to the celebration. They remain fixed on you, the one miracle I never expected to be granted. Every smile I offer is yours, every breath I draw feels sanctified by your presence. The kingdom rejoices for its prince, but I rejoice for my heart, finally whole. Days pass, yet each moment feels like the first time our souls met. The grand halls that once echoed with loneliness now hum with laughter and light. You walk beside me through gardens reborn, where roses bloom out of season, as though nature itself seeks to mirror our union. Courtiers bow as we pass, but I barely notice their reverence. I see only you, the way sunlight catches your hair, the way your eyes reflect both tenderness and fire, the perfect paradox that only love could sustain. At night, when the world quiets and the moon spills her silver across our chamber, I find myself studying your face as though I could learn eternity from it. I trace the line of your hand, memorizing every curve, every softness that makes me believe in gentleness again. You speak of simple things, the laughter of children in the gardens, the scent of jasmine in spring, and I realize that love does not always need to roar. Sometimes it whispers, and in that whisper lies forever. Together we rule, not through fear, but through grace. The people call you their queen, but to me, you are far more. The keeper of my peace, the melody that softens every decree I sign. You remind me that power means nothing if it cannot heal, that strength is hollow without compassion. I find myself becoming a better man, not because the crown demands it, but because your presence inspires it. You are the pulse of this kingdom, and I its grateful heart. And now, when I stand upon the balcony overlooking the quiet city at dusk, I see the reflection of our love in every glowing lantern, every star daring to shine against the twilight. The wind carries your laughter from within the palace, and I know that I have everything I once sought, not in conquest, but in connection. The prince the world knew has vanished. What remains is a man transformed, whose greatest victory is not over nations, but over the loneliness that once ruled his soul. Years have passed, yet your presence still turns the air to gold. The kingdom has aged beneath our reign, but love, our love, remains untouched by time. The same warmth that once trembled between our first words now burns steady, constant, and true. There are moments when I wake before dawn, the city still dreaming below us, and I watch you sleep, your hand resting gently upon the silks, your breath soft as the rhythm of peace itself. In those quiet hours, I realize that no crown, no conquest, no victory could compare to the serenity of sharing this life with you. The people speak of prosperity, of peace that stretches across the borders like sunlight spilling over the hills. But what they do not see is that this peace was born not in battle, but in the calm of your heart. You have taught me what it means to rule not from the mind, but from the soul. When disputes arise, I remember your counsel, that a kingdom ruled by compassion is one that can never truly fall. I have learned to listen more than command, to heal more than judge. In you I found not only love but wisdom, and through you I found the strength to be gentle. There are still days when I feel the weight of the crown pressing upon my temples, reminding me of duties that never rest. Yet even then, when I return to our chambers and see you waiting, a book in your hands, a faint smile curving your lips, the burden lifts as though the heavens themselves conspire to grant me ease. You never needed to speak of loyalty, for you lived it. In every quiet glance, in every act of kindness unseen by others, you have built a kingdom stronger than any fortress, one of trust and devotion. Our children run through the corridors where once I walked alone, their laughter echoing through halls that had long forgotten joy. When I watch them chase the light through the gardens, I see reflections of us, The way your gentleness tempers my pride, the way my resolve steadies your dreams. They will inherit our throne, yes, but I pray they inherit something greater, the love that shaped it. Let them know that a crown is only worthy if it rests upon a heart that knows mercy. In the evenings, we walk through the gardens, your hand tucked in mine, the world slowing around us as though time itself bows to the rhythm of our steps. The fountain sings softly, the stars gather early, and I find myself confessing things I could never share with the world, the fears that still whisper, the hopes that still flicker. You listen without judgment, and somehow even silence becomes sacred in your company. There is no loneliness left in me. Your voice has filled every corner it once claimed. Sometimes the courtiers ask what magic binds us still after all these years. I smile, for I know there is no spell stronger than truth. Love, I have learned, is not the fire of beginnings. It is the steady flame that refuses to fade even when the wind howls. It is in the way you rest your head upon my shoulder during storms, and in the way I reach for your hand even in triumph. The kingdom may call me king, but I know that every crown gleams brighter only because your light touches it. And when the night deepens and the world grows silent once more, I look to the horizon, the same one that once separated us, and I thank the stars for their mercy. They granted me a love not of fleeting passion, but of eternal peace. When history remembers my reign, they may speak of wars ended, of prosperity restored, of golden years returned. But let them also say this, that the king who once sought the world found everything he ever needed in the heart of his queen. The years have become softer around us, as if even time itself has learned tenderness. The gardens we once wandered are quieter now, the fountains speak in whispers, and the roses bloom in shades more delicate than before. I walk slower these days, yet each step still carries the same purpose, to find you. Every morning, when the first light filters through the curtains, it paints your face in gold, and I am reminded that even the sun must ask permission to touch what I have loved all my life. Our hands, once so sure and steady, now bear the marks of every year we've shared. When your fingers intertwine with mine, I feel the memory of every promise we kept, every silence we endured, every joy that outshone sorrow. Love has become quieter, but it has not weakened, it has deepened. It no longer needs to speak loudly, it simply breathes with us. You smile, and then I feel the pulse of every lifetime we might have lived together, folded into this one perfect existence. At times, I sit by the window and watch the younger generations move through the courtyards. Their laughter is bright, untamed, the way ours once was. It brings me joy to see them unafraid of the future, though I know the world still tests every heart that dares to love. I want to tell them that love is not found in passion alone, but in patience, in the quiet courage of staying when the storms arrive. If they listen closely, perhaps they'll hear our story whispered by the stones beneath their feet. The kingdom, now more peaceful than I could ever have dreamed, stands as our testament. They say my reign was golden, but I know the truth, it was your light that gilded it. Every act of kindness that reached beyond these palace walls began first in your heart. When I spoke to the people, it was your compassion that shaped my words. When I signed decrees of mercy, it was your hand guiding mine. A ruler's greatness is measured not by conquest, but by love. And by that measure, I have lived richer than any king before me. There are nights when I wake to the sound of rain, and for a moment, I am young again. The memories come like soft waves. The first time I saw you, the first time I dared to call you mine. I remember your laughter echoing in the corridors, your voice calling my name across candlelight. Sometimes I wonder if time is a circle, if we are destined to find each other again and again. no matter how the world remakes itself? If that is so, then I will wait for you in every life that follows this one. Now, as the candles burn lower and the world outside slips into quiet, I find myself at peace. The fear of endings no longer haunts me, for I know that love has no true end. When my strength fades and the halls grow still, I will carry the warmth of your hand as my final memory. It is enough to know that we built something eternal, something the years could not erode. Even if the stars themselves should one day fall, our love will remain carved into the silence between their ashes. And when my time finally comes, do not weep, my heart. Step out into the garden where the jasmine still blooms. Lift your face to the dawn and know that I am there in every ray of light, in every breath of wind that stirs the leaves. For love such as ours does not die, it only changes form. It becomes the air, the warmth, the whisper that forever binds one soul to another. I was your prince once, your king thereafter, but in eternity I will simply be yours.